December 2023, Kiev, Ukraine. An ATM suddenly boots up on its own and begins spitting out cash across a frozen sidewalk. A random passerby stares, stunned. No alarms, no smoke, no explosions. Just free money pouring out in the middle of the night. By sunrise, dozens of ATMs from New York to Barcelona sit completely empty. Bank records show $1 billion missing, yet every machine remains perfectly locked, untouched, intact. One email, 3 clicks, $1 billion, gone. How did a cafe waitress with a rented laptop pull off the largest bank hack in history? And more importantly, how safe is your money really? By daylight, Maxima Yakubets wipes tables at a modest cafe in Kiev. Tips barely cover bus fare, but after shift, in her cramped apartment, she becomes someone else entirely. Aqua, an obscure coder prowling the dark corners of the internet. Maxima isn't interested in stealing credit cards or breaking into inboxes. That's petty crime. She's thinking bigger, something that could change life forever. Back in 2013, banks were the ultimate fortresses. Breaking into one meant guns, masks, and a getaway car. But Aqua had no car, no crew, no weapons. She had something more dangerous: ambition and code. Rumors whispered through hacker forums about a leaked piece of malware called Carbanak. A powerful bank Trojan accidentally leaked online. To most, it was a curiosity. To Aqua, it was a blueprint. For weeks, he tinkered line by line, transforming the leaked code into something faster, stealthier, deadlier. He created a digital skeleton key capable of unlocking almost any financial institution on Earth. She named it Carbanak. The name meant nothing then. It soon would be infamous. But malware alone wasn't enough. Could a broke waitress truly break into global banks without ending up in prison? He was about to find out. Aqua's first test targeted a tiny regional financial network. Just a harmless probe. She expected firewalls, alarms, shutdowns. Instead, the bank's server doors opened like she had the master key. Seconds. That's all it took. If it's this easy, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer was simple. No one had built something like Carbanak before. With the first breach successful, Aqua realized he couldn't do this alone. He quietly built a small team, a mix of Eastern European tech geniuses tired of dead-end jobs, plus veteran hackers plucked from shadowy forums. Together, with Carbanak in hand, they set their sights on bigger targets. The stakes were rising, and so was Aqua. Here's what investigators would later struggle to understand. How did a waitress with 0 connections penetrate over 100 banks? The answer was simple and terrifying. An email. Aqua crafted it meticulously. A polite job application, a clean resume, a harmless-looking attachment. He began targeting employees at banks across Europe and Russia. The weakest link in any system, humans. Late 2013, a branch manager at a European bank received one of those emails. She had posted a job vacancy recently. Nothing seemed off, so she clicked the attachment. And with that single click, she opened the bank's doors. The malware installed silently. No pop-ups, no warning. Just quiet infiltration. Over the next weeks, dozens of similar emails drifted into inboxes worldwide. Many were ignored or deleted. But Aqua didn't need all of them. He needed 1 click per bank. Carbanak slipped into networks across Germany, Ukraine, Russia, and once inside, it didn't steal anything. Not yet. It watched. Carbanak had a disturbing power. It could hijack webcams and silently record screens. For weeks, sometimes months, the hackers studied every move bank employees made. Passwords, transfers, access levels, how cash trucks were scheduled, how ATMs were refilled, every tiny detail. It was the digital equivalent of walking behind employees, peeking over their shoulders, unnoticed the entire time. With enough intel, Aqua and her crew could impersonate anyone inside the bank, an invisible insider. Carbanak then jumped from the infected employee's PC to more sensitive machines, servers, transaction systems, ATM controllers, all while mimicking normal activity to avoid suspicion. If a random login appeared at 2 a.m., IT assumed it was maintenance. If money moved from one server to another, it looked like routine accounting. Aqua wasn't breaking in. His was walking through the front door. By early 2014, Carbanak had spread into 100-plus banks across 30 countries. Aqua finally typed the signal her team had been waiting months for. Begin the harvest. No guns, no masks, no physical presence at all. What followed was the most synchronized digital bank robbery in history. The billion-dollar heist. The attacks unfolded silently, invisibly. Cursors began moving on their own. Bank employees watched helplessly as their screens performed unauthorized wire transfers. ATMs started spitting out cash. In Kyiv, Hong Kong, and Berlin, machines erupted with money at scheduled times. Money mules casually walked up, grabbed the stacks, and vanished. Account balances changed instantly. An account with $1,000 suddenly displayed $10,000. Seconds later, $9,000 disappeared into offshore accounts. For SWIFT, the Holy Grail, was compromised. With stolen credentials, Aqua triggered high-speed international transfers that were nearly impossible to trace. Security teams were baffled. Bank CEOs panicked. Balance sheets collapsed overnight. By the time anyone understood what was happening, the money had hopped through so many foreign banks that recovery was impossible. Aqua's crew was unstoppable. Within months, they'd stolen nearly $1 billion. The victims stayed silent, terrified of the publicity, but one detective refused to let it go. Detective Petrov, whose mother lost her savings in the attack, pushed his department to take the case personally. Soon, the world's major cyber agencies united. Kaspersky Lab, Interpol, Europol, FBI, Ukrainian Cyber Police. Together, they began following the digital breadcrumbs left behind. At first, progress was slow. The hackers were smart. Servers wiped clean, logs erased, traffic routed through multiple countries. Then, a mistake. A single misconfigured router leaked an IP address tied to a luxury Moscow condo. Someone important lived there, but Russia was beyond the reach of foreign warrants. Investigators could only watch from a distance. 3 years passed. The trail went cold until March 2018. Spanish authorities stormed an apartment in Alicante, arresting a Ukrainian coder named Dennis K., a brilliant technician behind the Carbanak malware. For a moment, the world celebrated. Headlines declared the case closed. But back in Moscow, Aqua, real name Maxim Yakubets, smiled. Dennis was a brilliant engineer, but he wasn't the leader. The true mastermind was still free, still wealthy, still hacking. By 2019, U.S. officials indicted Yakubets and offered a $5 million reward, the largest bounty ever placed on a cybercriminal. But Yakubets didn't run. He flaunted his freedom. He lived in a marble mansion outside Moscow. He drove a Lamborghini with the license plate, War, Thief. His wedding guest list? FSB colonels, Russian intelligence officials, and cyber warfare elites. Turns out he wasn't just tolerated. He was protected. Hacking foreign banks was profitable, for him and for the state. When the FBI released his face, address, and daily routine, Yakubets posted a selfie from his hot tub. Caption: "Thanks for the fame." Still active, still dangerous. Then came the chilling proof. January 2020. A Ukrainian businessman flew to Moscow carrying bank access codes worth $40 million. He was drugged. The money vanished. Security footage showed a familiar hacker from Aqua's crew. Carbanak wasn't dead. It had evolved. Since then, at least 17 major attacks using similar tactics have hit global banks. Different names: Drydex, Evil Corp, Silverfish. But investigators keep finding the same thing. The same methods, the same signatures, the same Moscow IP clusters. Yakubets didn't just build malware, he built a school. March 2023, London. At a cybersecurity conference, a presenter displayed a live map showing real-time bank intrusions. Red dots blinked across the globe. "These are Carbanak-style attacks," he said. "Active, right now." A bank executive in the back row quietly texted his team, "Emergency meeting. Now." October 2024, another headline. A private jet headed for Dubai made an emergency landing in Turkey. Police swarmed the aircraft looking for Yakubets. But when they boarded, his seat was empty. The passport was fake. Someone had tipped him off. He's still out there, still 10 steps ahead. Right now, as you watch this, Maxim Yakubets is likely in his Moscow mansion. Maybe planning another digital heist, maybe training new recruits, maybe rewriting Carbanak into something even deadlier. Banks have spent billions on cybersecurity since his attack. Firewalls rebuilt, systems overhauled, networks hardened. But they all know one uncomfortable truth. They're fighting yesterday's war, because somewhere, right now, another frustrated coder, another underpaid tech worker, another overlooked nobody is building the next billion-dollar cyber weapon. The question isn't whether the next massive bank hack will happen. It's whether it's happening right now, in someone's inbox,